Welcome to another episode of Fly Me to the Philippines. Come and join us.
It was amazing, Chrissy. You said to me, Chrissy, it was like it was the last day of our life and we were trying to squeeze in as much fun in one day as we could.
Yes.
3 waterfalls, horseback riding.
Yeah.
We found a secret paradise. We're gonna give you the budget, we're gonna give you the name of the driver who can take you to these places. You can recreate this adventure, the waterfalls. We were up to our chest, Chrissy,
Yes.
in water, holding our cameras above our head. It was insane.
We did a lot in a day, and it's not just something that to do in our daily life, but we experienced a really good memories during that day. So
Like it was our last day, we had to squeeze as much in as possible.
yes.
So Chrissy, before we tell everybody about the secret paradise, and we're gonna tell you exactly how you can recreate this special day we had. I think everybody, if you know El Nido, you know Boracay, you know the rice fields of Banawi. Here in Mindanao, we've got these Bukidnon Mountains. Today you can't see how high they are. 5,000 feet elevation everywhere. Spectacular waterfalls, scenery like New Zealand. It's unbelievable. We've lived here 9 months, Chrissy.
But we didn't know there's such a place like
we
that.
had no idea there was such a place. But before we tell you about our secret paradise, what was the name of the first waterfall we went to in Claveria?
It's Nasaad Falls, located in Claveria, the province of Bukidnon.
Yeah, and it's only about an hour and a half from the part of CDO Uptown we live. Maybe from the airport it's 2 hours. It was really nice how it split.
Yeah.
Chrissy climbed up on the rocks. There was places, it was so cheap. What did it cost us to get it? 50 pesos each? Or not even? It was
10 pesos.
10 pesos per
each
person.
to enter the fall.
And the drive up there is just spectacular. And we found a brand new resort.
Malagana Fairways.
Rooms start at 3,000 pesos. Nice, cute cottages, swimming pool. We ate there. The food
Yes.
was really good. The views were spectacular. What do you remember most about that property, Chrissy?
Well, I took a lot of videos and photos because the views is just very spectacular and it's very relaxing. I feel like a model there.
She's on the little heart chair. There was the pool, the swings.
Yeah.
So we had a great day trip. Did we stop anywhere on the way back?
We went to the 1998
Oh, yeah.
Cebu Pacific airplane crash area.
Right, we stopped at a memorial for the crash in 1998. A Cebu Pacific plane crashed. 103 souls on board. Okay, ready to tell about our secret paradise.
Yes.
What we're suggesting is anybody who wants to recreate this trip. Occasionally we rent a car from these friends of ours. Julie, and we'll put her number if you ever want to rent a car in Cagayan de Oro. But we usually take taxis, and about a month ago we met a taxi driver, Joseph. Well maintained, clean, he speaks good English.
I really suggest that if you want to go to that kind of place, you should hire a driver because you will enjoy the view. Because if you will drive, you will just be focused on the road.
Yeah, I saw way more when I was a passenger.
Yeah.
So we contacted Joseph, and we're going to give you his contact information. If you want to recreate this trip, or you ever need a good taxi driver in Cagayan de Oro, give him a call. His WhatsApp number will be in the description box. But Joseph charges 4,500 pesos for the full day. It was like a 13-hour day. He picked us up at 6:30 a.m. and he bought the gas, he provided the car, he drove everything. It may cost just a little bit more if he's picking you up from the airport. If you want to get picked up at the airport and taken on this day trip and return to the airport, I think 5,000 pesos is probably right. If you're already here in Uptown Cagayan de Oro, he'll pick you up at your hotel or where you're staying, and he'll charge you 4,500 pesos. Now this is March of 2024. Our Bulgarian friend Nacho, Chrissy and I and our friend Jim went, and then another couple joined us in a separate car. Jim had been to this falls. And now we'll provide this map, and it's called Cedar, but the actual name of the falls.
This is the Natigbasan Falls right here, and then next will be the Gantungan.
Say that again?
Gantungan and Natigbasan Falls.
So this falls, I had never heard, in none of these places we went on this spectacular secret paradise, I'd never heard of it. Jim had been there 2 weeks early. He was so impressed. He told us all about it. We all heard from him and saw his pictures, and we thought, we got to go. We couldn't find the entrance. We had it on the maps that you can, the pin on Google Maps. We drove right by it. We had to stop, even though he'd been there 2 weeks early, and he drove. We couldn't find the turn to get in. Joseph can get you there, the driver of the taxi, and it's really not that hard to find. If you stop and ask one of the carinderias, little small restaurant, and then there's somebody working there collecting fees. What did it cost to get in? It was
just 100 pesos each.
100 pesos per adult. And then we had a guide. You have to have a guide, and the guide was 300 pesos. So for a party of two, you're going to pay 500 pesos, including the guide. Parking's free. It's small. It's like there was hardly anybody else. There was one other couple from Manila. We had the place to ourselves, basically, and it was a weekday.
It was a weekday.
You really should bring water shoes for this trip. Bring a water bag. You're going to be up to your chest in water. And you could bring a water bag and bring all your possessions with you that way, or you could, the guide has a water bag. You can give him your wallet and your cell phone and car keys, and he'll keep all the small possessions, and then you leave your backpack or your possessions at a picnic table and you proceed. So we go down this trail. Yeah. Very rugged.
It's a really nice experience. It feels like you're walking in the jungle, like a real jungle, because what you will see side by side are just forests.
It was like being in the wild. So I didn't see any mosquitoes. I'm the only one who put bug spray on. But I didn't see any bug problems or anything like that. It was really rugged, tree roots all over the trail. One word of caution, you got to really watch your ankles, both on the trails and on the rocks. The rocks were very slippery. Some of the rocks are in the water. You don't want to really have sunglasses on while you're walking through the water so you can see the rocks better. But you got to get your footing. We were fine. However, he would not take us to the third waterfall. There's 3 waterfalls at this one location. If you're fit and you're young, they'll take you to this third waterfall. Now, the guide we had, he took us down to the first waterfall. He helped take photos. Roaring, beautiful waterfall. We stayed there maybe half hour. We walked. The water was only like above the knee to get to that waterfall.
But the water current is really strong.
What do you remember most about that waterfall?
Well, you cannot really go into the
real heavy downpour.
I wanted to go there, but the guide told me that it's very dangerous under the water.
I've heard. We went to Tanago Falls last week. Well, here's a picture of that.
Right,
they pull you on this raft. They put you under the waterfall. It's like somebody emptied a swimming pool on your head. You have to close your eyes. I'm not exactly sure that it's a really enjoyable experience.
So that's really the thing that I wanted to experience in that falls. But he didn't allow me to go there, so we just enjoyed a little bit sprinkle of the water.
And if that was the only waterfall you saw, oh my God, you got your money's worth. Well, anyway, after half an hour, we walked on these kind of slippery rocks, about maybe 100 meters, and we were up to our chest in
we went to the
water.
opposite
It's
side.
really nice, really, really nice and peaceful. Nobody there, just nobody there. And we found a cave. And this waterfall was really powerful. The other guide, now our guide didn't bring life jackets and he didn't bring a long rope, but the other people's guide, he brought a long rope, life jackets, and the people were able to climb up on the base of this super strong waterfall. And the girls wanted to do that, but our guide didn't have the supplies, and he sort of had a lame excuse as to why we couldn't do it. So if you really think this is a great idea and you're going to do this adventure, you might want to see if you can negotiate that with your guide before you head down to the falls, because once you're down there, you won't get to do it.
You need to tell them that I want to experience this so that they can bring the life jacket and the rope.
They have this like buoy and a 100-meter rope maybe. And there were some girls, just some like 25-year-old girls. They got to climb up on the base of that waterfall and then kind of get dragged. You get pulled off so the current doesn't take them away. That type of thing. Spectacular, really. It was sort of because it was so secluded, it wasn't a tourist spot. Like you go to El Nido, you're fighting, you're climbing over other tourists. I just loved the seclusion. It didn't feel like it was like a secret paradise.
I know.
And we didn't even know what was coming for the rest of the day. The rest of the day was like insane.
It's really private, no? It's like the location, it's very private when you go down to the river, into the cave, into the falls. And the water is a little bit cooler.
It wasn't like crazy cold or anything.
It's not that, but you know, it made us really hungry after, after soaking to those really...
So we climbed out. It was, you didn't want to leave. It was so gorgeous. And we thought we were done. Like we left, we had no idea we were doing anything else.
Yeah, like
that was our destination.
I thought that's it. Okay, that's it for today.
Yeah,
and
but
then
it was like 11:30. It was like 11:30.
After we changed, we went to the restaurant.
The Cowboy. So we went like only 15 miles down the road, and everything's got this cowboy theme. We couldn't quite figure it out. There's like cowboy statues and
that's why I bought this.
Horse statues, and people are selling cowboy hats. And there's a restaurant. Do you remember the name of it?
Cowboy Town.
Cowboy Town. It was like a restaurant in America. It was crazy. It was like you stepped into America.
Really good.
It had cheeseburgers, and Chrissy got a really good mixed seafood grill.
Yeah.
It was just the right amount of spice, kind of like that Cajun spice. I had the double cheeseburger. It was like a place in America might serve. It was pretty darn good.
Yeah, so while we are having our meal, that's the time we decided to maybe visit another destination.
Yes.
And then our friend Alma, she got the idea to go to the Communal Ranch.
Communal Ranch. Now this is like some indigenous ranch. It's like a big parcel of land, like Bonanza.
Yeah.
And it looks like New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's green. And we pulled up. It was about a 15-minute ride from the restaurant. It really wasn't far from the first stop. So from our house here in Cagayan de Oro, it was about 2 hours to the waterfalls. If you came from the airport, maybe 2:20, 2:30. The ride wasn't bad. The roads weren't bad. But we got to the first stop. We went another 15 minutes. We got to the restaurant, maybe another 10 minutes. And we were at Communal Ranch.
Yeah.
And we pulled up to a viewpoint that was just spectacular. And you could see the river just like you can see the river down here, but it was just crazy spectacular.
It was really high.
But Chrissy, what did you say about this view? You thought you were done.
So I thought that it's enough, like, you know, because we already seen the beautiful view from that roadside. So I was like, I think it will look the same in the Communal Ranch.
Right.
But then when you asked me if I want to ride a horse, and I was like, okay, then let's go to the Communal Ranch because that is where you can have a.
So this was.
Horseback riding.
So Chrissy's like, oh, this is the Communal Ranch. It's spectacular scenery. You could have left and thought, wow, that was one of the nicest. Our friend, Nacho, I met him in Machu Picchu 9 months ago. And Machu Picchu is insane. It's so spectacular. I rank it as one of the top 3 tourist destinations. You know, maybe the pyramids. Nacho thought it was nicer than, Nacho thought Communal Ranch, the actual Communal Ranch when we got there was nicer than Machu Picchu. I still go with Machu Picchu. But so we drove and we had to pay an entrance fee. It was a
70.
How much? So the entrance fee was 70 pesos per person plus 200 for the vehicle. So if it's only 2 of you, it's going to be 140 entrance fee plus 200 for the vehicle, 340 to get in, and then add 70 for each additional person in your party. And it was, you know, a rough road, and we get to this like even more spectacular setting. And there's horseback riding.
I told you.
And like a cafe and a guest house. You can actually spend the night down there for like 3,000 pesos a night also. So Chrissy has never been horseback riding. Chrissy, what do you think? Tell us about that experience, horseback riding.
Well, horseback riding for the first time I experienced, it was really nice and a little bit scary for the first time, you know. And this guy, these cowboys, is that cowboys?
Yeah.
These cowboys.
Gauchos, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. They brought us to the what they call it, to the cliff.
To the ridge, yeah.
To the ridge, which is near the river. You can see from up there the river, and you can see these really spectacular mountains at the back. And it was just so scary because, you know, who knows, the horse will run into the cliff and then you will just roll over.
250 pesos per person for horseback riding for 1 hour. Now, disclaimer, these horses, they were lucky to get a walk. You know, they were like not interested in going very fast at all.
Yeah.
You don't really ride like we know back in the West where you get a trail or you go hike and, you know, and you follow the horse in front. These guys walked the horses 100 meters away to a picture place. We had our pictures taken. And then they walked the horse to another place, and it probably was 25 minutes. So it was the shortest hour of horseback riding ever.
I think for among the 4 horses, I got the best.
You got the nicest. Chrissy got the white stallion. I got the worst horse. He didn't want to join the others. I was lucky to actually get in the photo. But it reminded me, like in Egypt, when you pay 5 euros to get on a camel and have your picture taken. But it was, if you've never ridden horses or you just want to capture an amazing Instagrammable moment.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And then you walk up afterwards to the lodge, and they have a lake in front of the lodge and overlooking this view.
Was that a lake or a fish pond?
Well, maybe a fish pond, where we got a cup of coffee. We're just enjoying the view, and the woman that works in the coffee shop comes running out and says, "Rainbow, rainbow." And she works there. I guess it's not common to get a rainbow.
Yes, that's what she said, that rainbow is very precious because they don't usually see rainbow in that area.
And oh my God, it lasted like 20, 30 minutes. And
You're so lucky.
It was just unbelievable. We got lots of good footage of the rainbow, Chrissy posing, Chrissy playing around, and it was really unbelievable. And we live here, we never knew such a place existed. So Chrissy, after it's now what, like 2:30, maybe it's actually probably like 3 o'clock by now.
Yeah.
Right? So it's around 3 o'clock. So we drove the 2 hours, and our friend Jim, he is on the move, and he knows every place around Cagayan de Oro. He took us to another waterfall. It was our 3rd waterfall of the day. I had never heard of this place either, and it's actually right up this way. It's behind us here. There's another river. Do you remember the name of that river? Bunayanam? There's a river right up here is the Cagayan de Oro River, and just maybe like a kilometer up, another smaller river cuts in, and maybe 3 kilometers around the ridge you can't see is a cafe called Vista West, and it's like what it costs. How much to get in? 50 pesos.
100 pesos
to get in. Yeah, 100 pesos to get in. They have brewed Arabica bean coffee for like 50 pesos, and what a view. Sunset. What a way to end the day.
Nice to visit there in the afternoon because that is the perfect spot for sunset.
It was just the greatest place to spend the last hour of the day before the sun went down. In the far distance, a really tall waterfall, beautiful colors in the sky, a breeze. What a day, Chrissy. And so anybody out there, I guess what we want to communicate is we're going to give you this whole budget here. So, I've pulled up a regular price flight from Manila, not a crazy discount. And you can get these discounted flights if you book 6 weeks ahead of time and you catch the sales or you get notified. But for 3,500 pesos, you can fly round trip from Manila or Cebu City to Cagayan de Oro. And so for 2, it's 7,000 pesos. Joseph's going to pick you up and take you up there for between 4,500 and 5,000 pesos, depending on if you're at the airport or you're closer here in Cagayan de Oro. The entry fees we went over, we'll detail them right here. And the whole thing for 2 people, so it's 7,000 for 2 people, the taxi 4,500, the entrance fees, the guide, lunch, by the way, at this crazy Cowboy Ranch, Cowboy Cafe. What was it? Cowboy Restaurant?
Cowboy Town.
Cowboy Town Restaurant. Chrissy got the most expensive item on the menu. It was 450 something pesos. We shared. You shared with everybody. And I got a cheeseburger. It was like 325 pesos or something. So, by the time we tipped and covered Joseph's lunch, call it 500 pesos each. Yeah. So it comes to, if you fly in from Cebu City, if you fly in from Bangkok, if you fly in from Manila, you pay the regular rate, 3,500, which is the rate you pay if you're not booking same month, same week. You're going to be able to do this for 2 people for roughly $273 US. And, if you spend the night, it's going to cost you 3,000 pesos to spend the night. Yeah. You could do this trip we talked about and then go to Claveria or vice versa.
Yeah.
Spend the night. You could go to the fairways, Malagana Fairways, spend the night there. They've got a pool, different view, different area. Go see that little waterfall with the split, and then come back and make it an overnight. I'm sure you could buy a room for Joseph. He'd spend the night up there with you and modify his charge. Usually a taxi in Cagayan de Oro will normally charge $3,500 for the day, assuming you're just putting around town. When you go up into the mountains and they got to climb these steep hills and they're kind of putting a lot of wear and tear on the taxi, they're going to charge you more for gas and wear and tear. So that's the extra $1,000 roughly that we paid. So we've got Joseph's number in WhatsApp in the details, in the description box.
Yep.
We're going to put Julie's name and
the rental car owner.
Rental car in the description box. El Nido, Boracay, Banuay, what is it? Banawi. You know, there's a top 10 list of day trips and excursions that everybody else is going to. But this one, and we've been to El Nido.
Yeah.
Excursion A. We've been to Boracay. We've been to Puerto Princesa. We've been to Dumaguete. We've been to a lot of places.
Yes.
This was the single best day we ever spent in the Philippines. And the weather was cool and beautiful. When we got back at sunset, it was like the best hour of weather. Yeah. And right now, we're standing here. It's probably about 75 degrees.
It is. It's so windy. It's so breezy here.
We're worried our camera's going to fall over.
I know.
It's so windy.
Okay,
that's why I keep looking at you, because it's not that I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at my camera because it's so windy. We're thinking it's going to fall over.
I know. Again.
So, Chrissy, what do you think? Have you been on I've taken you all over the Philippines.
Yeah.
Have you been on a day trip that was better than this one?
Every day trip that we had before is really good, but that one that we had 3 different places in one day, it's just, you know,
like we were trying to squeeze it all in before we died.
That's why I told you that it's our last day.
You know, Chrissy, once I watched the YouTube and it was like 25 places to visit before you die. And number 1 was Ha Long Bay in Vietnam, and it just got stuck in my head. Like, I got to go to Ha Long Bay. I would, if I made a list of 25 places you need to see before you die, this day trip that we just went on, that you can do, if you're a solo traveler, you can do it for 12,000 pesos. If you are a group of 4, your cost is going to come down considerably because you can share the cost of transportation. Wow, and I love the fact that you're just not it's not touristy. And the weather, you're not hot and stinky and sweaty.
You can barely see any foreigners there.
Yeah, so word of caution, bring water shoes. You know, when you're in the river and in the waterfalls, you bring some, you might even want to bring a jacket, which is unusual in the Philippines. We don't really use them jackets, but in case it gets cold in the mountains or if you go to Claveria, a friend of our friend Jim brought walking sticks.
Oh yeah, that's very helpful.
They were kind of helpful. Or if you see a tree limb along the way, you know, take it easy. Don't break your ankle in the rocks. It's you know, it's rugged. If you're super fit, get them to take you to the 3rd waterfall. We didn't get to see it. It was, you know, he didn't think we were up for it because maybe we're older. The 3 of us guys were, you know, over 65.
Yeah. Remember we had a trip to Baguio that we canceled?
Yes.
I was not sad about it, and I think that day trip is way better. Yeah, like we you know, Nacho went to Manila just now. He's probably at the airport, and we suggested he go to Banuay and see the rice fields, and then you should go to Baguio too. But when we pulled up YouTubes on Baguio, it's just tourism. It's just so much tourism, and you know, you could take buses pulling in with people, and it's just a major tourist attraction. This secret paradise is just that. I mean, we have lived here, and we know a lot of people. Nobody ever said to us, "Have you been to Communal Ranch?" Yeah. Nobody ever said, because it's secret.
It's secret. And now you know, you've got a budget, you've got a driver who we recommend, you got a rental car operation that we've used 5 or 6 times, get picked up at 6:30 a.m., do the entire flight, be back in the airport at 7 o'clock at night, and catch an 8:30 flight and back to Cebu or back to Manila. You know where to eat. You know what it costs. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Thank you for watching in another episode of Fly Me to the Philippines. See you on our next video.
Filipina with a cowgirl hat and a waterfall behind her.
Yeah.